November 22nd Environmental Commission meeting to order.
Okay, statement of compliance. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is a regularly scheduled meeting pursuant to the annual meeting notice as published in the November 18th, 2021 issue of the Hunterdon County Democrat. A copy of the agenda was forwarded to the Hunterdon County Democrat, filed with the Township Clerk's office, and posted on the bulletin board. For our roll call, we have Marnie Stetson.
Here.
Mark Castellano.
Here.
Erica Johansson.
Here.
Allison Kapchak, myself. JD Groom.
Here.
And Jim Edwards is absent. All right. So the first thing we have is the review of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions? Has everybody had a chance to look at it?
Yes.
Okay, there was actually one thing that I wanted to ask about, Marnie. If you remember, there was a student initiative, a PSE&G Green Team. It was forwarded by Rosemary. I just wanted to see what everybody's thoughts was on that. It's really quick. Just about having an intern here over the summer, if we had enough to give them to kind of provide a challenge. So if you wanted to talk about that, would you be all right with that?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So I'll add that under items for discussion.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the October minutes?
Second.
No, someone has to move. That's just me asking for someone to move, and then someone else has to second.
Motion to accept the October minutes.
Second.
Perfect. Perfect. And not seeing any members of the public present, we don't need to open to the public.
Perfect. So,
All right, so Allison,
yes.
talk to us about electrical vehicle charging stations.
Yes, we had a meeting with Rose on Friday and she gave us some clarification on the grant.
Allison, wait, first just let everyone know, because you went to the town meeting, right? So just
Yes.
talk
Okay.
about that first.
We did have the township meeting, and so Mark was there as well, and we discussed just the feasibility of what everybody's thoughts were about having the electric vehicle charging station, and it was decided that the best location and the only real feasible location would be the municipal building. Having it in town would be a bit too tight, not too much room, so having an EV charging station at the township building would make the most sense. And Mayor Wolf was on board with that, so we moved forward with having Rose come out and just give us some information with regards to the type of charging station, and she also gave us a ballpark as to how much it would cost. So we have the okay, we have the preliminary okay from the township to move forward with it. So Rose provided us with some information just at the 11th hour. I don't know if everybody checked their email. It was a document, 2 documents that she sent with regards to that. That gave a ballpark idea of how much it would cost and the grant process, a step-by-step process. And it was decided when we met, Marnie and I, also with, is it Jason from DPW that was there?
Jason.
Yeah, Jason was there. That we will move forward with securing the grants first, and that it would kind of be a step-by-step process.
Well, right, except, I mean, we can help, but it's really the township that has to,
Yeah.
do the, I mean, we can do,
Oh, we can, yeah.
I think what the next step is, it seems like Rose was offering to do a draft of the BPU grant. So there were 2 grants. There's the BPU grant and the PSE&G grant.
Yes.
The BPU grant is due soon, in 2
Yes,
weeks.
on December 6th.
So Mark, tell me if this sounds right to you. If she's willing to do a draft of the grant, we would have her do that, and then, I mean, get in touch with get in touch with Krista, or?
Well, Krista could probably handle some of it, but she would have Jason look at, like, because Jason applies for a lot of like the road grants and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And he could take a look at it. And I'm sure Margaret, the CFO, would want to look at it possibly too.
And in fact, I think her contact, I mean, I looked at it really quickly because Allison and I didn't get it until, not that long ago. So I just looked at it quickly, and it looks like Margaret actually has to be listed on there as one of the, but I guess, I mean, Mark, it would be okay for us to go ahead and, because if you apply for the grant, there's no obligation.
Yeah,
We could
to take the grant, obviously.
Right, to get Rose to, she said she would do a draft of it for us.
So just move forward with that. And then, so we wouldn't necessarily be submitting it. It would be a township.
It would come from the town, yeah,
Oh, okay. I did not
Right.
understand that. Okay, I feel kind of better.
I mean, we're like doing the,
Yeah. right, because
I
you
mean, we'll have
submit,
input, obviously, yeah.
right, because you'd be applying for the grant, but the actual expenditure of money would come from the township.
right,
So,
and the recipient would be the town.
correct.
And then the PSC&G grant, it seems like before we can move forward with that, we have to have an electrician or two come out and it seemed like Jason had some ideas about that.
Jason has somebody in mind, as long as they're covered under New Jersey Star or the
Yeah, that's the
ESCNJ.
people, I forget the ones that do the municipal electrical.
Yeah,
kind
so
of
they're
stuff,
on there,
so-
they're kind of on that list, so.
Right, and I would imagine they are.
Yeah, and Jason would probably rather use somebody that he's familiar with, and Rose did provide us names as well, so I mean, we have that, but I know I would rather defer to Jason on that, he knows.
Most definitely,
Yeah.
yes.
Definitely, so. Perfect, so we'll just move forward, so, so next steps would be to contact Rose to draft it up and.
Right, so what I would do is, again, somebody come to the township meeting.
Yeah.
And explain what's going on and, you know, that Rose is gonna draft it and that kind of stuff. And explain the options about, we can apply for, you know, the grant. Doesn't necessarily have to take it up if the township decides not to go forward after
Yeah.
seeing the numbers, et cetera.
Yeah.
But somebody should explain that whole process,
Okay,
all right?
so
Yep.
Marty, would you wanna, you and I, or do you want me to speak again, or?
Well, I will go with you. I think you should, you've been really doing all the legwork for this, so, but I'll go, if I'm free, I'll go with you.
Okay, no
And then
problem.
I was just gonna share also, there's also, Malinowski was talking today, there's a lot of federal money in the Build Back Better. There's a lot for EV stations. And some of it is going to be filtered through the state, but some of it is going to be direct to municipalities. So that's not something that's available right now, but it's in the future. So, I mean, I
remember Rose
think,
mentioning that,
I
and there was
think-
a couple other things.
I think there's going to be a lot of EV money.
Yeah, well,
So,
I mean, well, that's
That will
one of
help.
the big projects, and I think the thing with money coming directly to municipalities, that first round of COVID money last year, when it was given out, unless you had 50,000 people or greater, municipalities didn't get any money.
right,
That's why the second round of COVID money, they went to each municipality and gave money to municipalities, to counties, and to state, but everybody was in control of their own destiny. So before the money went to the state, and then they distributed the county, and then the county gave it to who they wanted or whatever kind of thing. This way, everybody got their own little tranche of cash. So that's why I think in this, the new bill with the Biden and stuff is that they're gonna give it more control to each municipality, which really, if you can't use it, you can't use it kind of thing, but they're at least offering it up and you can control your own. Again, you know, it's hard because the communities within Huntington County, I mean, there's ones that are smaller than us and we're more of the average size, and Reddington and Raritan are the outliers. So a lot of, even though the money is available, it's not really, it isn't usable by us because we can't run these programs type thing. You know, even though federal funds are available, spending 40, say, or if you wanted a couple of these things for 80,000 out of our budget would be unbelievable. And there's towns that have much smaller budgets than we do.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, great project, but you'll never get off the ground because you
Trickle
can't
down, yeah.
fund the interim and stuff. So filing for the grant first and knowing you kind of got that.
At least you have it
Here,
in your,
Exactly.
yeah, you have it in your toolbox.
So you
to
write the
speak.
check and you submit, and then it's all kind of flattens out because you get paid back on it.
We have it, okay.
Right.
So we've got our marching orders on that, so that will work. All right, cool. So is there anything else on the grant, Marty, you wanted to add or anything, or
on EVs.
these?
No.
We're all good. I think we know what we got to do next. It's
Yes,
just
oh, actually, Allison, just because you and I, or you probably already knew this, I only just discovered this. There's two kinds. There's the kind, and I don't know the technical names. There's kind where you plug your car in for a long time, and then
rapid charge.
and then there's the one that I think that we would be interested in, which is the, you know,
Yeah.
charge in an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So that, yeah, so I think, and the one that we would be interested in significantly, it was pretty expensive. I mean, so that's why I mean, how many, and just out of curiosity, like how many do you think that we will probably shoot, like 4 in there, or would it just be 1?
I would say between 1 and 4. It's definitely not 4.
It's definitely not 4. Okay.
And
That's a-
is one,
Too. I'm trying to visualize this.
well, that's the whole thing. I mean, it's 2, is that a reasonable number? I mean, Wawa's got 10, I think. You know, that kind of stuff. Again,
And then
it's
I think
free.
it's per
Right.
charging station. What could we feasibly, all right.
But
Correct.
I think the idea is if, the town was going to do this, it would be with the idea that whatever costs are going to ultimately be covered by grants or rebates.
Right, and then if you
Reasonable.
try at least to cover the ongoing,
Yes.
where at least it's sort of, you'd love to make money, but if it's providing a service, I guess it's somewhere in between that. You don't want it to cost you money at the end of the day.
Right, right.
Oh, God. Okay, so do you want to move on to the clean communities?
Yeah.
On
That sounds
that.
good.
So clean communities, just a quick status. I submitted the applications for a quarterly cleanup of Amwell Lake. So the first one's going to be on March 22nd. I submitted that to the recycling committee. And then also the East Amwell Environmental Club are going to do cleanups of Clawson Park after Parks and Rec events. So I submitted those 2 applications. One sponsored for us for Amwell, the other on behalf of Sharon Ernst. I submitted it for
On behalf of who?
Sharon Ernst. She's the environmental club captain over at East Amwell Township School. So they could take care of the idea is that they could come and clean up Clawson Park after Parks and Rec events the next morning. So
Then I don't have to.
really cool. Yeah, exactly. So they'll come by in the morning.
Allison, I'm just trying to understand. One is an environmental commission thing and one is not.
One is not, yeah. So
Okay.
we are going to sponsor the Amwell Lake cleanup. So that's going to be our baby. And then
Is
that's
that
gonna be
the one?
cleanup.
Is that the one in March?
Yes, the first one in March, March 22nd. So I was hoping that we could just get out there on Sunday afternoon and learn about Amwell Lake. And then once I get the approval, so Erica, I don't know, did you see that come through? Because I emailed it about a week and a half ago.
I might have missed it, but I mean, I know Juanita Hummel really wanted to be involved.
Yes. And I don't want to really reach out and like confirm anybody until I know it's approved and stuff. And once it's approved, then I will go forward with firming up the educational component of it.
Allison, who does it have to be approved by?
There's a subcommittee of recycling. So it's Rosemary, Allie, and Erica. So I'll resend it, but I just want to make sure that my T's are crossed and my I's are dotted. So
By being approved, it means they say, yes, you can clean up? I don't really understand.
So Erica, can you speak to that a little bit? Like you say, yes, you clean up and this is the amount of grant monies that.
I actually am not sure about
Okay.
that.
But from what I understood from speaking with Ally is that like they review it and they say, okay, we will allot, like for instance, a lake cleanup or a waterways cleanup is $500. So we would have $500 per cleanup.
And is the money to like buy trash bag? What's the money for?
The clean communities, any of that money and the grant for clean communities, and this was the thing that I was so confused about for a long time, anything related to that cleanup. So it would be trash bags. We could get t-shirts. We could.
Well, you get pickers,
you can
like to
get
pick
pickers
stuff up and stuff
and
like that.
we also have a lot of that
Yeah,
stuff
we do
too.
actually,
Like,
the
so-
barrel and the foam pallets.
So we don't have to spend that entire 500, but the money is there and that money is
I
allowed
see.
for having the educational component and so on.
Can you buy like donuts?
Yeah. So
Okay.
as long as it's covered under clean communities and everything, I got a list of approved speakers from Hunterdon County that they say you can hire these people to come out and
Okay.
have a couple
Right.
of things on. So I'm just waiting for the okay and then I'll book that all up.
Yeah, I actually like the t-shirt aspect because that kind of advertises it like while you're walking around, what you're doing.
I like stuff. You want to have it. When I
They
did the
like
clean-
merch.
Yeah, they like their merch. I want to, I was thinking of just like the water bottles for, when we did the Delaware cleanup, my kids and I, we have water bottles and I'm telling you, we use them. So maybe we need some East Amwell environmental commission water bottles. It'd be great.
And did we get any clarification about doing streams?
I spoke to Raritan Headwaters about that actually. You're reading my mind. So Raritan Headwaters, I provided the
Wait,
application.
hold on one sec, Allison. I just didn't hear what Mark said. What did
Oh.
he say?
No, just about clarification about extending this stuff onto streams, because I've gotten a lot of calls about the Neshannock and stuff like that, and all the debris from Ida. You know, it's in people's yards, it's unsightly in the streams, and I'm telling everybody, don't touch anything, you know, DEP, EPA, this and that. I said, you may wind up getting in trouble with them, getting in trouble with landowners. You gotta be careful.
issues
Right,
with the
there's so
county,
many
too.
layers of issues here, but I just want to, if we can actually navigate this somehow.
We can, and I feel very confident that we can, because I sat down with Raritan Headwaters, and they do an annual cleanup around Earth Day. So what is that, April, the end of March, April, or something like that.
It's like the third week in April usually.
Yeah, third week in April, and then, I feel like I should know that. And they do cleanups. So they've never done a cleanup, even though it's within their watershed in East Amwell. So I'm like, listen, here's the application for Clean Communities. We have a watershed cleanup initiative through Clean Communities. Fill this application out. So their coordinator is going to do that, I hope sometime soon, because I sent it to them about a week ago. And then they can they have their own volunteers, their own swag, their own thing that they could use to have, they could disperse them out to East Amwell. And do
Well, you
cleanup
said
there.
they've never done a cleanup?
No, they haven't done.
Now, it's a funny thing because the Backbrook was actually, I'm not
They
mistaken.
monitor the back road.
That's exactly, and it became, and I think one of the, I don't want to say controversy, but one of the things was that I think it came up that it was not in good shape. So, but they couldn't determine whether it was in East Amwell or turned, from
It's further up.
further up and
Yeah.
it came down or whatever. And I find that surprising because it actually came up when they were doing some study and it came up like a C or something and it was bad.
Yeah.
That kind of monitoring of it, that they wouldn't want to take the initiative and say we should,
I
because
knew-
the Backbrook flows into the Shenandoah.
Exactly, yeah. And I remember asking them if they had somebody, if there was any way that they could have somebody just do water monitoring below the ridge. They have the water monitoring at the Van Loos Bridge there, but they don't have anything below the ridge. And I know that we don't have any more water monitoring data from the ridge anymore. But they will hopefully in the spring with their initiative come out and do a cleanup of the watershed there. So that will be handled by RHA.
Great.
So-
It's April 22nd.
Can we
That's right.
recommend a section of it kind of thing or?
I think that should be fine. I mean, what do you want me to?
I was thinking anything east of Manners, I'll be honest with you.
Just like that specific area that goes along Elizabeth's.
Yeah, pretty much because.
And what they would do is that they would probably they would let the residents know themselves. Even Rosemary said we could let the residents know on our own and say like, listen, we're going to be walking that tributary that's riparian. We can walk in the water, but we have to let them know if we're going to like utilize their land to like get along it and stuff like that. And Rosemary even said, she's just like, just let them know. And they should be like, yeah. And they might even come out and help you.
I don't
So,
think any
I don't-
farmer would have an issue because
Yeah.
there is tons
There's
of
so
some,
much.
I don't know how many hurricanes and stuff that have been flowed down there. There is, people are asking, when's the township gonna do it? And you have to go through saying we can't touch it.
But Mark, if we do it, then we don't have DEP issues?
I don't know, that's the whole
Oh.
thing. That's what I'm wondering, is like, if Raritan Headwaters, does, you get a passport, or are they considered the experts?
Right,
Hired licensed DEP people and all that kind of stuff. I
right.
don't know.
I wonder if maybe Raritan Headwaters can do a separate cleanup. And maybe I could ask, it's getting a little too late now, obviously, but I mean, we had that one warm streak where it would have been great, but.
But even in the
maybe
spring, at least if you
Just
can tell
earlier.
people that it can be done, it's a sign of hope and say, all right, fine, put it down and
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
let
So,
me talk to Mara and everybody over at Raritan and just be like.
Yeah, and also too, just FYI, I think isn't Rick like he
He's
told,
on the board,
no, he's on the board of Raritan Headwaters.
so
So
maybe.
we have a connection.
Yeah, that definitely. So maybe that would certainly help, but it would be nice if they just like had a focus on it as opposed to just one fell swoop during the day, just on April 22nd.
Hmm.
It would make, I think, a lot of the residents feel better because there have been a lot of complaints about it. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will talk to RHA about that.
Cool.
See if we can do an individual cleanup. So that's where we're at with Clean Communities.
Okay, so next is the sustainable jerseys, possible initiatives. And Allison, I'm right, we do not meet in December, right?
No, we do not.
And the date in January is already set for the
As far as I know, I will reconfirm that with Krista because I know
I
she.
think-
It
I
should be
think
the fourth Monday.
I think it's the January meeting, which we set the calendar for the year. So January should already be set. So what I was thinking is you guys all have access to this document. Some of you told me what you were interested in, or some of you put your own name on there. And I'm just hoping that, so next to that on that chart, on the far right is a link to a PDF, which details all the things you need to do to get, your points for that initiative. And so what I'm hoping is just in January, we can all take whichever one we're assigned and just report back. Yes, we've already done this, this, and this. We would need to work on these two, or this one is totally out of our, like, there's no way we can do this one. So it's probably involves a little bit, some of them involve a little bit of research, looking on the website, maybe talking to Krista. Does that sound like I think most people just have one or two. Does that sound doable?
Mhm.
Yep.
Definitely doable. I know with mine and everything, it's been a lot of like ongoing things, like updating the website, making the subcategories of the website to, like, for a community, the education initiative and stuff like that for the residents and so on, and then the VIP article and so on. But one thing I had a question, Marty, was about the green fair. I also noticed under there's a green challenge for 10 points. And I was just thinking, I like to have a backup in case something doesn't work. And if the green fair, like, we can't get enough involvement for the green fair, then can I move forward and just do a green challenge?
Yeah, I mean, my idea with this isn't that we're going to have everything done by January.
We'll have
It's
like
that-
little bits and pieces, and slowly they'll come together and be like,
or simply actually just know whether it's something that can be done.
Yeah,
So you might look at the green fair and decide, once you look at all the details, this is not something we can do. Maybe we'll try the green challenge instead. I don't expect us to have this done by January. I'm hoping people can take a look at the one they're assigned to and see what's.
Yeah, hi, yeah, this is Erica. Marnie, yeah, I told you the things I'm interested in. I will be honest, I didn't look because I'm not very good at this share drive yet. I have not gone and clicked on the documents, but I will definitely look and see what my assignments are.
And Erica, I put you down for, there's one about recycling depot and there's one about non-mandated recycling materials. And if it's easier for you, I can just email you those PDFs.
Okay, that might be great, because I said, I'm a little bit, and Mark's wife will attest to this, I'm a little bit computer challenged, which is kind of surprising considering the work that I'm responsible for at my day job, but anyhow.
That's no problem. I'll just email you those and basically just take a look at them and see which ones you think we could do.
Cool.
And also, Marty, what's your ideas? What do you think of an art committee? There was something on there about an art committee. You can just say that's a horrible idea, Allison, that's a lot, or no.
I didn't look at it, but if you
Yeah.
want to, I mean, we have quite a extensive list here. If you want to add to it, be my
It
guest.
just seems nice because it just already, with all the work within the school, it just seems like it's doable. So, but I of course want to run it past.
Well, take a look at it and tell us in January after you look at all the things, whether you still think it's doable.
I might change my mind completely, but. Okay. And then
Because some of them, I mean, as we were talking about earlier, some of these are designed for much, much bigger municipalities than we are. So part of this process, in my mind, is just weeding out which ones are feasible for us and which ones are just, not doable.
There's a lot of stuff there.
And
then
he-
The low hanging fruit. That's
Oh,
easy.
yeah, and there's a
That's
lot of
easy
it in the
score and
community
stuff.
education. one.
Surprising, we actually do have.
We
a fair
do, we
amount.
have like a lot of little things. It's just a matter of bringing it all together and then submitting it as part. So Sustainable Jersey gives us the framework, which is fantastic, but then it's just like making sure that we submit it properly to get the points. So, but there's also another app that's really cool. It's called the Canva app, and that really helps for like making newsletters and infographics and stuff like that. So I might be putting that more into the website. I could share if we have time, if you want, I could try to share the website now and everybody could just see what I was doing.
Well, didn't we have that on here as a item or no?
Yeah, I kind of have that under
Right.
this.
Yeah,
that?
as part of the Sustainable Jersey. Yeah, definitely. You can definitely show it. Yep. Because it's part of
Okay.
it was your work towards one of the initiatives, right?
Yeah,
Yep, show it.
and it is. Let me see. Bear with me here. Let me see if I could just pull it up. Okay, so I'm going to try to share the screen. Let me know if you can see it. Are you able to see that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So of course, let me try to get out of here. Bring it back up. We're in a very tiny screen here, so just bear with me. All right, so everybody can see the full screen. Is everybody seeing it all right? Because there's a kind of a lag here. Now, you know what, it's not. If anybody wants to just go in on their own and try to see it, it's not working out for me. But yeah, basically on the website, I'm just gonna come right out of it, stop. All right, I tried, never mind. So basically, if you go on the website, you will see that I have a subpage going. One that says resident watershed initiatives and so on and so forth. So that's subpage over on the side there. I want to start highlighting certain initiatives that are Sustainable Jersey worthy. One of them being just any of the initiatives that we're doing that come to fruition. I can highlight them there, and that can kind of become our Sustainable Jersey page. And then also on the right-hand side, you may notice that there's, I put a lot of volunteer opportunities, the link to our VIP articles that we put in, as well as any tidbit of information that might be useful to the residents, like the Clean Communities application is linked on there and everything, and a lot of information. So I try to keep that up to date. A lot of stuff was the Sourland Conservancy, like the tree plantings we had there and everything. So that's on the right-hand side under news and tips. And on the left-hand side, I really want to build that up more with the Sustainable Jersey as they kind of come to fruition. So I noticed with a lot of township websites, like West Orange, larger townships, but West Orange, a lot of North Jersey townships, they have their own Sustainable Jersey website. And we can't have our own, but we can certainly have it as a subpage off of the Environmental Commission. And it just might get a little more traffic to our site. And then as residents become more aware, they can get a little more involved. So that's what I'm working on with the website right now. So sorry I wasn't able to share it.
Well, why don't you, just as a little,
Mhm.
why don't you submit it to Krista as a revamp of the EC page or whatever?
Yeah.
And then highlight and let Rick, under his,
So you can
announcements,
do that.
submit it. Well, you can do anything you want. If they don't want it, they decay it. If they want to talk about it, which they should, say we revamped it and this is what it is, and highlight or whatever, and you should, residents should frequent it for updates and stuff.
And then
You know, we have
instead of
this-
having it as a subpage on the EC site, have it as a page off of the main
Potentially.
site.
Potentially.
Yeah, that would be.
With
that would be
news
even better.
flashes and updates. Look, I don't think there's anything to really, I mean, you don't want to inundate people, but
Yeah.
you just, to update people about certain events or whatever that might be happening. That may not be an issue, but you need to alert everybody from the beginning
Yeah,
and say, look, we've revamped it, working every day, working on hard. And this is what the main highlights of the page are, et cetera. We're gonna try to get stuff out. They should be looking at VIP. They should obviously stress the website, web pages first.
yes.
And then
I've
there's
stressed that
also
in the
secondary.
VIP before, like visit our site, so
Right.
go check out and see what we're doing and see
Right.
about initiatives that you
So-
might want to partake in and everything like that. But it would be great if it was accessible from the main township
Right.
website too. Then it would get us a little bit more traction as
Right,
well.
but, well, again, it's gonna be like, because Parks and Recs, it's an actionable committee as
Yeah.
opposed to just people, it's happening in the background. If you can put actionable items and stuff, then it deserves front page news kind of thing. So write a little blurb, make it, exciting and headline type news and,
Yeah.
And say, you'd like to bring this to the residents' attention, not every month, but this is a month and,
Yeah, like I do
and it
news
sounds good in
flashes.
December to, for the new year and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, well, like I definitely do a news flash for like when we do the cleanup and everything like that. We
Yeah.
had did anybody see the news flash that went through about the Blue Acres program? Does everybody see that? Because I want to just make sure I'm doing it right. Like it's supposed to go out on that RSS feed and it's up on the main page, but it's the Blue Acres program for people who have been flooded. New Jersey is offering to buy back their properties. So
Allison,
that's
did
Blue
Yeah, I
Acres.
didn't see it. I get it on my, as text, so.
Oh, okay, so you
I
probably
must
still
not be
have
signed
that.
up.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, it's on the main page there. So like I'll do news flashes, but like Mark said, I don't want to like totally inundate, but if we could get a little
Yeah,
more.
but those are important things.
Yeah.
I mean, those are, it's not like we got corn today. This is really, stuff that you want that's newsworthy, et cetera, to get people's attention, et cetera. And stress that people should sign up for notifications.
Yes.
You just got to pound it into them. That, whether it's text and, it's not like you're gonna get a text every day, but text and email, sign up for it, get on the mailing list, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
All right.
Okay, so this is really embarrassing, but I'm not signed up for this.
Sign up. You
Figure it
go
out.
right on and sign up.
It's okay.
Is it
Yeah,
on
I'm
the,
not either. I mean, I'm signed up for township things, but not.
No, but it asks you what you want to be notified of. I think
Yeah,
everything.
like I said, I'm not very good at this
Just click
online
what you wanna
stuff.
hear about.
okay, but I'm not even signed up for township stuff. So Mark, is it on the website?
Yeah, some, I mean,
Okay.
for me, I can't,
I'll talk to Ally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll talk to
I'll look for it.
look at that, we got 6 new signups. Yeah.
But it's, I mean, it is slightly worrisome that, I mean, not that I'm like rocket scientist, but I'm pretty involved and I didn't know that I should be signed up for this.
Yeah, it's tough, but go figure it out. We'll work the kinks out and everything, but no.
Well, I think it's really a township issue, not an environmental commission issue.
But again, think about it, right? You're trying to get the word about, sign up for a web page where people aren't,
Aren't even some.
right, that,
Right.
so
we gotta
that's how
tell
you know, and the only way you can, if you see, I can't send you an email because if you're not signed up, and unless you're listening to the township committee or however we're alerting people to it,
My
They're not
question
gonna
is
sign up.
how do people know that they're supposed to sign up?
well, when we launched the website, when, you know, my wife redesigned it and stuff, whenever it was, I mean, we made a splash everywhere, trying to tell everybody, alert and sign up. We transferred some of the old emails to the new and stuff,
Okay,
but it just, you know, people just aren't, and then
Some
they're saying,
people-
well, I didn't know. Well, if you were signed up, you would know. 'cause these
Exactly.
texts come
how long ago was it that? How long ago did she
a
redo?
few
the
years
website?
ago. I guess it's got to be 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, that's good to know.
Yeah, I mean, it is, because you get it by text or email or both. I get it from both.
Okay, I will do that.
Yeah.
Okay, is that good for Sustainable Jersey? Any questions?
No questions. I am good.
Anybody else besides Allison have questions?
Sorry.
Okay, so deer management, I don't know if anybody had a chance, but I drafted a piece on deer hunting because the shotgun season starts in 2 weeks, and it's often a point of unhappiness among the farmers when residents get upset about lots of gunfire. So anyway, it's a very white bread article about deer hunting. Basically, you know, talks about deer overpopulation and the problems and why deer hunting is an important, you know, solution. So if you didn't get a chance to look at it, I'm going to give it to Candace Monday, and I'm planning to submit it. You know, it'll have my name, but I'm planning to submit it as an environmental commission piece. So just if you get a chance, if you have any questions,
No,
email
I
me
think
tonight.
it's very good.
I thought it looked great. And
Okay.
by the way, it's bow hunting season and my hunter has already gotten 6 deer. on my
Wow, that's
property.
great.
Everybody, if you want to see it. I
Yeah.
figured it out.
It's pertinent because I had another deer the other night, so.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness. So yeah, there it is. Marnie, would you want me to submit this when everybody has a chance to look at it? The
No, I
deadline-
can submit it. I can.
Oh,
submit it.
okay, yeah, all right. So, because it should be its own thing, definitely, because it's informative. And then,
Oh.
do you want this to just be from EC on Friday, or do you still want me to write anything for Friday, or do you
Oh,
want?
it's totally up to you. If you want to, you can. And if you want a break, this can be our thing for this
This is
month.
important stuff, so.
Totally up to you.
Yeah, okay.
No, I think it's a very good article. I mean, I just spoke to a farmer the other day, and he was, he basically had a brush hog one of some of the land that he rents, because it was so devastated by deer, because the person that owns the property only hires trophy hunters, and they won't
Right.
kill all the deer. They look for,
Just look for the good ones.
right, so meanwhile, the deer are camping out, and so, you know, unless he's gonna make money off it, it doesn't even pay for him to take the combine out of the barn.
Right.
We basically brush hog the whole, at least it had to be 20 acres that he paid for, obviously to rent and stuff, and plant, and he got nothing out of it. So he was complaining.
Yeah. So the landowner is leasing it to basically trophy hunters. That's
Right.
what's happening. Yeah.
Correct, and they're not, and obviously they're picking and choosing as opposed to just clearing it.
Yeah. It was interesting. I learned a lot about deer hunting And it turns out, like, in order to actually take a big haul, you have to be very strategic about which does you take first. Because if you take like the babies, then the experienced leaders just take their herd.
Oh, yeah, my hunters
yeah,
have
don't disappear.
cameras in their trees and everything. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
And then the other news, Allison, can you unshare just so I can
Yep, on
see?
here.
Thank
Gotcha.
you.
All good.
So there was an ag meeting and some farmers were upset. I think they believed that there were some secret deer subcommittee meetings, which actually weren't actually happening. But the good side, the good effect of that is there are some farmers now that are gonna have an ad hoc deer management subcommittee and, work on that issue.
Awesome.
So, and I said,
Makes a lot of sense, right, Marnie? You're the ones that are affected. It's a livelihood for us. We have some trees, which again, it's not a good thing, but for them, it's got real monetary value.
well, and also I think, at that farm meeting, that was their, they were complaining and complaining and complaining about deer management. And now, it's their turn to do, to come up with some proposals. So I think it's,
Yeah, and just one other thing, Marty, I put you in touch, I think, with Mike. Van
Yes,
Cleef
I
at
met with
Phobos,
him.
and they have a list of hunters that like will sit there, that they can provide property owners that just aren't looking for the 12-point buck or whatever the
Right.
heck. But
well, what Mark just said is the
Yeah.
crux of the problem, because there's some people that really want to get rid of the deer because they're destroying their property and their crops. And then there are other people that really like the money they get from leasing to the trophy hunters. So it's like a hugely complicated problem. So I'm happy to pass it on. But Mike was incredibly helpful. So I said that we would keep working on the education part of it, educating people about the problems with deer overpopulation. And then that group is going to work on other solutions.
Slowly but surely.
And I don't think we have any new business, right?
Nope.
Okay, so items for discussion.
There was that food. Did everybody receive the food establishments draft ordinance? Did everybody have a chance to review that as well as Anna Del Campo's comments? Is everybody able to look at that? I can open it up. It's under the November 2021 meeting, so if everybody's
Yep.
able to look at that, was there any comments about that?
I don't have any.
Looked at it, read it, no comments outside of what was it, Anna Del Campo wrote?
Yep.
It seems that her comments were cogent and made sense coming from her position, but from the environmental side, I didn't really have much to say about what was written or how it was written.
Perfect. So I'll get back to Krista with that. And then there was also, what was it, Tamley, she had inquired about trees within the Sourlands, and she was able to get a whole bunch of information, which was really interesting. And I contacted Sourland, if everybody has that and they can look at it. It's really interesting. It's like the largest contiguous area in central New Jersey of like trees. So it's obvious that we want to take care of that and be prudent in how we treat the Sourlands. So I contacted the Sourland Conservancy and asked if they had this in an infographic, because this right now it's just a document, it's words, and I think people will see it and they're not going to take it in. And they don't. They reached out to Forestry, the NJ, is it Forestry, New Jersey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they don't have one either. So they do not. They do. I was shocked, and so I'd be happy to shoot my shot and putting together just like a little bit of an infographic, but obviously would need the blessing from New Jersey Forestry and Sourland Conservancy and make sure that it's accurate. But I'd like to work on that for like December, January, and then just have it, because then it kind of goes into how we're revamping the tree ordinance and everything. And it's really, that's another thing, like with deer hunting, is very important. We don't want people just going in and chopping everything down. So get people to understand where they live. So
no, that's great. And I live in the Sourland, so I'll be happy to comment.
yeah, definitely. I will send it to you just to look and see like, all right, am I going off kilter or is this making sense? And then just kind of make it pretty, so we can provide it to residents, but also as like an addendum to what was brought up at the township committee meeting, the rewriting of the tree ordinance. I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, I already got to look at it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I mean, it's,
We're gonna have a say in that, right? Like,
I think it has to have a tremendous amount of input because, I mean, I have my opinion on some of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I still find it hard to believe you're trying to tell me that this is just judging by this thing, we're potentially, we're probably over a third of wooded area in the state of New Jersey. Nobody can find a pie chart of telling me how much relative to the state, like this is the state and we're this much. I mean, it's stupid. You can tell me how many trees, there's 5 million trees up there, but you can't show me the graph or a pie chart. Oh, because people have a hard time understanding this. I said,
yeah, they,
you know, I
they don't
look
wanna
at
see
all
like
these
all the
trees up
words, they
there,
need to
right?
see-
And it's, you know, you gotta think, I mean, you got a couple schools of thought on this stuff that, we got all these trees, but then you know what, half are, quarter dead because of the
Because
ash
the ash
borer,
borer,
and,
yeah.
and then we have other problems, and, some of the trees, I mean, it's really old growth, but it's dead, I mean, it's to be a tinderbox, you know what I mean? It's just, gotta get more of, all right, so if there's 5 million trees, okay, and give me a little more, you gotta get in, a little bit deeper than that kind of stuff, and just say 5 million trees. Guys, I can go there and tie 1,000 pink ribbons on my property and say, all right, these are all dead.
Yeah.
Now we got 1,000 left, that kind of thing. So, I mean, people aren't, like I said, it's only numbers. People aren't really going to look at it,
Yeah.
or it's just going to be, show me in a graph that here's the 5 million trees represented. 1 million, they're talking about losing a couple million to possibly to the ash borer,
It's looking pretty awful.
right, and it is, and the deer eating the saplings, so
Saplings, yeah.
there's no regeneration of growth. So there's a lot of different issues, but
If we have a-
that kind of stuff,
Understood.
and we'll have-
DNR Greenway may have some information because they do a lot of preservation.
Who was that,
DNR
Erica?
Greenway.
DNR
Oh,
Greenway.
Yes.
Yeah, and I am a volunteer with them, so I could possibly reach out to them and ask if you send me like what exactly want to know, because they're really hooked in. They've done a lot of preservation in East Amwell.
I mean, maybe Erica, like I'll work with you on that because with the information that Tamley had sent over and everything, just trying to like create that into something that's a little.
Okay,
more-
cool. And then also New Jersey Conservation.
Yeah, is it New Jersey? Yeah, New Jersey Conservation and.
Yeah, I'm involved with that organization too, so I can help you out with that. We can add this onto my initiatives.
Perfect. Yes, it does. Right. Perfect. And then the next thing, so we got that. So the next thing was Erica would be you is the Buy Nothing Facebook group, and there's private stewardship info you wanted to update us on.
Is this about the buy nothing?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't have anything other than what I sent you guys. I haven't really researched it, but I thought it was cool, and this might be something we work with Alice and Mark's wife, recycling committee chair.
Erica, maybe, so I've seen the article, but I don't think anyone else has. So maybe do you want to just explain a little bit?
Yeah, it was behind a paywall for me.
Yeah, basically what it is, it's a Facebook group that, I read about this article in the New York Times. It's a Facebook group where it's a little bit more than next door, where you can sit there and say, hey, does somebody have a cup of broth or something? Or I have an extra, a half a turkey that I'm not going to eat. Does anyone want this? And then people can write back and sort of exchange things. I think it's very popular in some sections of New York City, where that obviously is a little bit easier because people live close to each other. But I thought that might be something we want to look into,
I
like
think
our personal sort of like East Amwell next door kind of thing.
yeah, and you know what? It kind of reminded me of Neighbors Helping Neighbors, and I know Neighbors Helping Neighbors.
Yeah.
Is big to Ida, but it would be really neat to maybe. This is totally out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because it was like when I lived in Trenton, what I used to do when I didn't want something or I was done with it, I would put it out on the street and then people would take it. It's a little bit more difficult up in the mountain where there aren't that many people driving. So,
But I miss it.
I sort of like the idea of, being able to repurpose stuff.
Well, the farmers kind of do it. Look, they can't have every possible piece of equipment.
Yeah.
So they all have this whole network of, I need a thatcher, I need a bale wagon or whatever, and they all kind of share among each other. So
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea of this.
We're going relative to farm equipment and stuff like that. So this could be something along those lines for a non-farmer. It could include farmers, but along that
Yeah,
Bad
totally.
idea.
We could build it. I think that could get built into, and then this could just be a part of it. And that would be really cool. So just bring it all into one place instead of having it scattered everywhere. That would be
Sure.
like really neat.
Yeah,
And then
for
when
sure,
you
'cause
think
like
about-
I have, I did have a picky dog who I buy treats for and he wouldn't eat them. So it's like, okay, what do I do with these dog treats that the dog's not gonna eat? So it'd be nice to offer them to
What do I do with
somebody
my
else.
$500 Chewy order? And then dog's not eating it, and you're like, why? Animals.
So like this kind of already goes on the East Amwell Facebook page. So are we talking about just doing something separate to kind of make it a little bit more specific to just that? Because like I know I just gave away like a lot of furniture at my old house that we.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. It was really nice stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so like, are we talking about doing like a something separate, like a?
Like a
page of that?
sub page of it. Like,
Yeah.
Right, and
That
keep
sounds-
it
that sounds
within the
good.
East Amwell
I think
residents.
it should be a part under the umbrella of neighbors helping neighbors.
Oh, that's, you gotta speak to the people doing neighbors helping
Yeah, I
neighbors
know.
if they want that concept, so,
It just, that's the first thing that popped into my mind, because I think we could grow on that, and that would just be a really cool community initiative. So this would
And
be part of it.
Erica, was there anything from the private stewardship seminar that you went to or no?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? A cat just walked in front of my computer.
You were gonna go to that private stewardship?
Oh,
Some-
it hasn't, I thought our meeting was next. Sorry, that's
Oh,
cat
okay.
walking on my computer again. I thought our meeting was next week. It's tomorrow, so I'll have an update next meeting.
Okay, oh, great. That's great.
Does it have to do with Rutgers environmental stewards or anything like that? Because that's something that's gonna pick up for 2022, and it's really neat.
Ron, there's a giant cat in front of my computer again.
Erica, have you ever
I'm
heard of
not,
it?
it's actually Native Plant New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So it's a Native Plant Society of New Jersey, and they're offering this, and it probably is in cooperation with Rutgers.
Okay, yeah. Because I remember I sat in on the Rutgers Environmental Steward. They had their like little summits at the end, their end of year summit, and everybody had a project that they worked on for the whole year, and then they presented it. And I just remember thinking it would be really cool, like from like a watershed education or something like that, to like present a project and work on.
Yeah, no, Alan, what I'll do is after this meeting, I'll forward you the thing I'm going to attend that I forwarded Marnie, just so you, as an FYI.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So that'll be great, Erica. You can tell us about that. If you learn something.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And then we can move on to oral reports. And
Oh,
I
just
have-
one thing, Marnie, that Green Teams initiative, were you able to, remember the link that I sent you? Basically, in short, it was forwarded to us from
Oh,
Rosemary.
right. You wanted
Yeah,
to
we
add
would
that.
have, PSE&G have their Sustainability Institute. And I'm pretty sure the link is in the November 2021 drive, but it's a really neat initiative. I don't think that we would have enough to challenge high schoolers to like work with us. They would intern with us for a couple months in the summertime.
I looked at it and it looks to me like it's designed, like if the town, it looks like it's designed for a high school student to spend their summer in an office somewhere.
Yeah,
Um,
and then they would bring us back a report. So basically,
Well,
that's
no,
a-
I think it's designed like if you were gonna apply to have an intern, they would be in an office somewhere and experiencing an office setting, like not off on their own doing some research.
no, yeah, they would be in an office setting. It wouldn't necessarily be an office setting here, unless I misunderstood it, because they would be up at Montclair State, and that's like where their home base would be, and then they would sit in on meetings with us occasionally, like that. That's kind of how it would be. But then again, in retrospect,
I got a different impression from it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I might have,
In the end, I don't think we would have enough to challenge them, but it's just one of those things that Rosemary forwarded along. So I just want to see what everybody thought about that, because I didn't want to be like, yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, if we had like a park system, like,
Yeah.
you know, Essex County, or like Newark and Rangebrook Park, or Essex County Park System, that kind, we don't really have anything that significant in town, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's hard to, I mean, if it was involved Hunterdon County maybe, but to just do East Amwell.
Or if we could just circle back and have it be a green challenge, like in through Sustainable Jersey, and just have it like kids do a green challenge or something like that. That would be another thing that's similar to this, but obviously not as official. So no on that. No worries.
Okay, so let's
Or-
move on to oral reports. I have nothing to report from the last planning board meeting.
on that, and then Parks and Rec.
I did not attend the last Friday night in the park, but I do know we are having our tree lighting. Isn't it December 3rd, Mark?
Oh, no.
Yep, it's December 3rd. I know the Girl Scouts were going to be singing at it, so everybody show up.
Yeah,
It's going to be at the Clausen House. I'm going to sing.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Why did
change of venue though, not outside.
Why did they, was that tree dying or did they
No, it got
too big?
too fat.
That's my kind of tree.
Got too fat.
Good.
So they planted a new one, but it's like this, it's tiny.
I pulled up, I'm just like, we're gonna like that? I'm like,
Yeah, so that's why the venue's been changed to Clausen,
I don't think that's even ever. Maybe we'll get more of a turnout and that'll be cool.
weather permitting.
And Friends of Open Space, they didn't meet, right?
No, we did
No.
not.
And Mark,
I have nothing other than Allison coming to the township committee presenting, which she will do again for December. And you
Great.
more.
that's
Yeah.
great.
Ready.
Seeing no members of the public, we don't need to do that.
And there's no vouchers.
No vouchers, no correspondence. Well, we did whatever correspondence we got. So do I hear a motion to close?
I'll motion to close.
Second.
So moved.
All right.
See you guys in January.
Yes.
See you. Have a nice, everyone have a nice holiday.
Yes.
All right, take care, enjoy.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Allison.
Take
All right.
care. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.